Girls Chronicles fam squad, welcome back to another vlog. Welcome to my old Girls Chronicles fam squad members, and welcome to my new Girls Chronicles fam squad members. And thanks once again for joining us. If it's your first time watching us, you can become more acquainted with us by watching previous vlogs. Now remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Today, we are doing part 2 in the mental health series, and I will continue by talking about mental disorders. Today, I will be focusing mainly on depression and anxiety disorders, right? In our last top mental health vlog, we ended on what mental disorders were. So I just want to pick up back from there and then we can continue. So we said that mental disorder is characterized by a clinically significant disturbance in an individual's cognition, emotional regulation, or behavior. It's associated with distress or impairment in important areas of functioning, and this is the definition according to the World Health Organization, right? So let's delve in. Remember, previously, I stated according to the statistics, the 2019 statistics given by the World Health Organization, they said that there was approximately 1 billion individuals on planet Earth with a mental disorder, right? So we have to be cognizant of the fact that many people out there are going through stuff, right? 1 in every 8. So we are almost 8 billion people on planet Earth. So it's almost 1 billion people that's going through mental health disorder. Let's look at depression. In 2019, the survey the statistics that World Health Organization put forward under depression is that there was at the time 280 million people living with depression, including 23 million children and adolescents. 280 million individuals suffering from depression. And depression is not a walkover mental illness. People are struggling out there, right? During a depressive episode, the person experiences depressed mood. They feel sad, irritable, empty. They experience a loss of pleasure or interest in activities for most of the day, nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks. So depression is not just, oh, me down at this minute, I'm not feeling up to it, and then the next minute I'm all right. No, depression can be a long-term illness if not recognized and treated promptly, right? Other symptoms include poor concentration, feeling of excessive guilt, low self-worth, hopelessness about the future, thoughts about dying or suicide, disrupted sleep, changes in appetite or weight, and feeling especially tired or low energy. So these are symptoms of depression, and individuals who suffer from depression are at increased risk, high risk for suicide. How are we dealing with the individuals around us going through various changes that's happening in their lives, right? Especially since COVID-19, so much has happened to our young people, our children, who missed out so much. Those 2 years of lockdown affected us so badly. They affected us so badly. And I can attest, I am more an introvert now than I have ever been in my life. I enjoy my own company more than being out there in doing all these things like I used to before. I cherish being in my own space, just me and my family. I cherish that a lot more now, because all during COVID, that's who I got. Yeah, you talk to people on the phone, but you're so much more self-reliant now than ever before, because the only person that's got you is you. And because of what we went through. Can you imagine? I'm an adult. Can you imagine what these children went through? Going through high school, not having friends, class was virtual. If my son didn't have friends from back home in Jamaica, and these aren't just friends, these are his brothers, I don't know how he would have pulled through just being around us, because he was very social. And when he came here, everything that school was happening for that first part when we came here in 2019, he was very involved in his rugby, involved in the functions that were happening at school. And then lo and behold, this happened. And he had to be at home, going to school online and dealing with all these things. Our young people, this Gen Z generation, they're going through a lot of things, and we need to observe them and support them and be there for them and speak life into them, right? Because they are going through things. Individuals are so. When I worked as a school nurse, I met children that tried to unalive themselves. Because of things they have gone through, and they're so depressed. Students who don't know how they are going to come to school the next day because parents are having it so hard. And you have to assist where you can. If it's even, say, I can give them lunch when they come to school. Even though there are programs in place, there is not enough programs to assist everybody. You can give a bus fare to a student so that they can come to school the next day. Help where you can. Reach out to your family members that you can reach out to. There are people going through depression. Once you notice the signs, help. Let's look at anxiety disorders. WHO statistics say that 301 million people in 2019 were living with anxiety disorder. And of this 301 million, 58 million were children and adolescents. And I've dealt with individuals with anxiety disorders. So many things can make them anxious. And anxiety doesn't also mean just anxious, but it also includes panic attacks. So many things can make you panic. I give you this example. While working at a nursing home here in Canada during COVID-19, I worked on a certain unit, and I remember a resident acting out one day and told me some things and whatever, and the way the resident behaved towards me, I felt that if I wasn't the type of individual I was, he could have harmed me. And I came out of the room and I said to the other healthcare professional, I say, I will not be dealing with this resident. I went up to the nurse's station and I cried. I broke down. Do you know that like a couple weeks after that, I went to work, was supposed to be working on my regular unit, because where the incident happened with this resident was not my regular unit. And when I looked at the unit I was going to, I got sick instantly, instant sick, nausea, vomiting, the whole works. And I reported to my director of care. We call them sisters, our matron back home. I reported to her and I was telling her what was happening to me. And she said, okay, Gail, go home. This was during COVID. So the symptoms I'm experiencing, she's saying, we don't know if this is that you're going through this, or if this is that COVID. I did my test. I went home. She said, don't come back till we get the results. Few days later, they got the results. I was negative for COVID, which I knew, but I knew it was because I did not want to have to be on the same unit dealing with that patient, that resident. And so I understand when people have panic attacks and they are anxious. Listen, I had reached a point where I would look the day before and see what unit I am going, because if you are moving me from my regular unit to put me on that unit, this girl, like, listen, I go into sister, I talking to her, and I'm saying, I am having issues. I do not want to deal with this resident. And as a healthcare provider, you need to know your strengths and your weakness, and you don't deal with that. I mean, this person could have unalived me. So I do understand the anxiety and the panic disorders that individuals go through. There are different types, but let me tell you, we know what it is. I remember when I worked in Jamaica as a school nurse, an incident happened and so many of the students started to panic. And the school I worked at was near a hospital. This was a high school. And I remember just asking teachers to put them in the car and go with them right to the hospital. We went to emergency so that they could triage and deal with everybody. They were like, nurse, you have it bad today. Remember, the incident happened. I had that individual, those 2 individuals in the incident, plus another 6 or 7 students dealing with. While I was there at the hospital, teachers had to be bringing up other students. This is already after I gone up with 6 or 7 students, plus the individuals who were involved in the incident. So that's like 9 students already there at the hospital dealing with those. And then having teachers bringing other students who were going through, who had seen the whole thing and were panicking. I remember having a student who saw the incident, who has epilepsy, have a seizure. So I can tell you that individuals who witness certain things and they panic or they have anxiety, this whole fear thing that happens is, yeah, it's real. It's real, and you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. The fear is real. The fear is real, right? The worry, parents who have anxiety disorder because they're worrying, how am I going to be able to provide for my children? You're looking, how am I going to be able to make ends meet? How am I going to be able to send them to university? I can't pay the mortgage on the house. Some people lose their jobs. How am I going to go through this whole hopelessness? And they're constantly worrying. And I've learned one thing. And this is my solution, how I've dealt with issues is to pray and to put it in the hands of the Lord. I know you want to know if I ever worked back on that unit. Yes, I worked back on that unit. I was even able to deal with that resident after a period of time. I toughened up. I say, you girl, you got this. You ain't gonna let nobody scare you. Thank God. It took me a while, but I toughened up. And if I had my assignment on that unit, I went, I did my work, and I went home. And that was how I dealt with it. You put it in God's hands. It takes a while. Things happen and it takes a while. Did my students recover? Yes, because I'm a good nurse. I'm there for them. I talk with them. I sit with them and let them know that these things are natural. Nothing is wrong with you going through what you're having, these feelings, having these emotions. And we need to reach a point when we can give our kids the best solutions and give them your experiences. Like I'm telling you mine. Give them your experiences. Let them know that they are not alone. They are not going through this alone. They face a lot of things at school. When they go to school, they face a lot of peer pressure. Some of them, they might not have the name brand clothes. Because, all right, living here in Canada, where if your child doesn't go to a private school, you have to buy regular clothes. And you want your child to fit in. You don't want them to be the odd one out. They're not wearing the what is in trend, this, that. In Jamaica, I know people want to ensure they're in the nicest khaki, the name brand khaki, the Clarks are the latest brand shoes, what they have out there. I know that's a big pressure. A lot of kids get depressed because when September morning and school reopen, they don't have the nice John Sport or the spray ground. Well, spray ground here in Canada, right? Or they don't have the Nike, or the Adidas, or the Jordans. Yeah. So they get a feeling of being the outsider, and that it makes them feel depressed and all of these things happening to them. There are various organizations that you can reach out to for assistance who deal with mental health and mental disorders. Reach out to these individuals in your countries, whether you're in my home country of Jamaica, you're here in Canada, States, England, wherever you are. Reach out to these individuals, these organizations. Every government has a website that you can reach. I will put some in the description. Every government have website that you can reach, right? Find somebody you can speak to. Your pastor, a counselor. If you're a student, a guidance counselor. Talk to your parents. Parents speak with their children. Find family members you trust. Speak to your best friends. Whatever it is, find somebody. Do not internalize everything, because it only makes it worse. And most of all, trust God and pray. Let's be kind to each other. Let's look out for each other. And this is where I'm ending it today. Thanks for watching. I love you all. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and comment, and give your experiences in the comment, what you have dealt with going forward. All right? And I will see you on the next vlog. Bye-bye.